And welcome to the Comic Corner here on the Ages of Fandom YouTube channel. We're live here on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch today because Twitter decided it didn't want to work. So that's fun. But we are here live on Thursday here at 10 a.m. Eastern, like we have been doing pretty much the majority of our time here, making this a weekly show. We haven't missed a week since we started doing this a weekly show, and I believe that's been about a year at this point. So, hey, kudos to us. My name is Damon. I am your host. What we do here is comic book news, reviews, and interviews. We have quite a few interviews already up here on the channel, a few lined up along the way. And I am joined here today with my buddy TJ, aka Fat Thor. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. It's great to be back. You're just talking about how we haven't missed any weeks, but I unfortunately missed last week, which I am upset about because there was some really great books, but we also got some great books this week. So I am excited. One of these books blew me away, so it's going to be fun.
I wonder which book it
is.
I wonder if it has to do with an ultimate reveal. An Ultimate Spider-Man. I didn't even have to change like the headline for that top panel because I feel like every time we get a new Ultimate book, we have an Ultimate reveal. And each time it's just like, yeah, that's pretty sweet. And this one, pretty sweet. We'll get to it. Also, Sick Tick is back. Something is Killing the Children from Boom Studios. James Tynion the Fourth, Werther de la Dera. One of my favorite books on the shelf. When it comes to non-Big Two books, it is my favorite book on the shelf, easily. It's back. I'll get into it. And duped again. TVA number 5, the finale of TVA came out this week. I got a little note saying, hey, things are happening in this book. A huge thing happened. And I read it and I'm like, kinda. Sorta. I'll say this. The fate of the MCU Scarlet Witch was officially revealed in this issue. I'll say that much as a big tease. The fate of the MCU Scarlet Witch officially revealed, officially canonized in this issue. AF, good after evening to you. He is reporting from Comic-Con Cape Town. And yes, AF, well, I'll be talking about that book a little later on. Don't you worry. We'll talk about this book next week as well because AF wants his hands in on TVA number 5. But first, it's Free Comic Book Day on Saturday. TJ, it's Free Comic Book Day on Saturday. What is Free Comic Book Day? Free Comic Book Day is a celebration of comics. It's a celebration of your local comic book shop. What your local comic book shop will have, most of them at least, is a bunch of promotional free comic books from Marvel, from DC, from Boom Studios, from Image, and a plethora of other indie comic providers like Mad Cave as well. They'll have a free comic book, maybe two, just kind of like showcasing some really cool things that they have going on later this year, some things that they've already put out that maybe you might be interested in. TJ, is there a free comic book? I know we'll be talking about a Free Comic Book Day book at the end of today's episode. But outside of that book, is there any Free Comic Book Day books you are looking forward to?
I mean, there's a lot. We're actually going to be talking about one today, which I loved and I recommend everyone checking out. But I mean, it's got to be the Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, all that jazz.
The Amazing Spider-Man issue?
Yeah.
It has the Ultimate stuff in the background.
Let me see. Hold on. Yeah, let me make sure.
It's
2025 bundle of 20 Spider-Man / Ultimate. That's what I'm going for. That I've been heavy on the Maker theories and how Miles fits into all this. So yeah, that's definitely going to be my number one grab that I'm looking for.
I brought it up last week from EC Blood Type. This is like their big horror comic that's coming out for Free Comic Book Day. I love my horror comics and everything. Like the EC terror books, EC horror books have been fantastic. So go check those out. And also, I want to shout out Boom Studios' 20-year anniversary issue. It doesn't have everything you'd expect a Boom Studios 20th anniversary issue to have, but it does have some really cool things like some sneak peeks of what's coming up in Hello Darkness, which is great, but also some past titles like Berserker. If you've never read Berserker, created by Keanu Reeves, Ron Garney. If you're in the Connecticut area, Ron Garney coming to BoomTube Comic Shop on Sunday, by the way. Also, the artist on a little Charles Soule Daredevil book as well. He did the art on Berserker. So if you're, curious, you may want to pick up. It's a free book. It's a good little tease on what that book has to offer. So those are my 2 shout outs there. Free Comic Book Day, y'all. It's a celebration of comics. Go to your local comic shop. Make sure you also buy some books as well, not just about the
Yes.
trades. Go buy some trades. Go buy some single issues.
They got crazy deals on Free Comic
Most
Book
of them,
Day.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, most of them. But yeah, thank you, Damon, because I wanted to emphasize that point too. Is, yes, it's Free Comic Book Day, but it's not like there's like someone who sponsors Free Comic Book Day for all these shops do this just like for the love and like for the kind of celebration. So I really want to urge everyone, like, yes, it's Free Comic Book Day, but please, if you can, try and buy something and support the shop, because Free Comic Book Day is usually a big hit for them. So it's really important to support the shop as well.
No, absolutely. It's a celebration of the comics and the shops themselves, of the community. Find your comic community. Comic shops are very welcoming places for the most part. So come on in, join the fun, join the party. You will not regret it. Speaking of books that you may want to pick up, by the way, the first 2 trades of Ultimate Spider-Man are out right now, TJ. And if you haven't been reading Ultimate Spider-Man, first of all, you're missing out on not just like the best Spider-Man book out there, in my opinion. It's not even probably my opinion, it's majority of opinions at this point. But arguably the best superhero comic on the shelf right now is Ultimate Spider-Man. This is Ultimate Spider-Man number 16, written by Jonathan Hickman, artist Marco Cicchetto, colorist Matt Wilson, and letterer Corey Pettit. This issue is going to be almost impossible to talk about without getting into spoilers. Before we get into spoilers, though, TJ, what did you think about this issue? And use all the adjectives you can.
I loved it. I mean, this is the one I was alluding to when we started, saying it blew me away, just because, I mean, Hickman is just so smart, dude. And the way that he's playing with these villains and just all the characters in general is just, I think, so creative. Like, being someone who obviously grew up with Spider-Man, I feel like we all kind of have these implicit ideas of who these people are. Even though like we know that this is a different universe, it's like we all kind of, at least I feel, kind of have this idea of where things will go. And he just does such a great job of subverting that. And I love this reveal. Obviously, you can tell, not really a spoiler, you can tell on the cover, centers Mysterio, which is a character that I really love. And I feel like he's getting his respect in this book, which I really like.
No, totally agree with that. I will get into spoilers. So if you're trying to get into this book spoiler free, let me at least say this. Go read Ultimate Spider-Man. You will not regret it. If you're a Spider-Man fan and you want something different and you haven't been enjoying the main line of Spider-Man, which there's quite a few of them, and you want something different, y'all, this is it.
Even if you don't like Spider-Man, like you've never read Spider-Man,
sure.
I think this is a good book to jump in on.
Okay, spoilers. We had a theory going back a few issues ago when Harry Osborn was killed by Kraven the Hunter. Big reveal. Shocking reveal. I was full on being like, oh my God, it happened. You, however, said, look who's in that moment. Mysterio's there. He's probably not dead. And I said, I don't think I'd like that, because it would be such a critical moment in this Peter Parker's life for him to actually lose Harry. However, When you add a second layer that neither of us were expecting, I theorize, well, maybe Gwen Stacy will start to put on the Green Goblin suit and she'll become Green Goblin to either honor Harry or get back at Spider-Man because she may not have all the pieces together. But what if, TJ, there wasn't just one Mysterio? And Mysterio is more of a Mysterio society and almost a Mysterio Illuminati. That was horrible that I tried to mesh those two words together and it
Clip
did not
that,
come out.
chat. Clip that.
Illumina Mysteriati.
Mysterio
It's a
cult. That's
fraternity
what
of
I was thinking.
Mysterios. Where Quentin Beck is there. He's like the leader of it. He's this old man. He's just kind of like the head of it. But Gwen Stacy's dad is in this little fraternity of Mysterios, and he passed on that aspect of him to her. So now she is also a Mysterio. And she was that Mysterio that came in at the last moment to save Harry's life in the end. Really enjoy that twist. It was a twist that neither of us saw coming. We had pieces together, but when you add in that second dagger and twist it, that's the good stuff right there. That's the good stuff. So yes, in the Ultimate Universe, Gwen Stacy is Mysterio. A Mysterio. There's more than one.
Yeah,
How about that? How about that for a twist?
I love the kind of cult angle that they're going with it. Like I said, I really like Mysterio, excuse me, as a character. And I, feel like, which is also great, very often written as a joke. Episode after TJ can't I show this. My man, thanks for tuning in. I told you, Damon's got the zingers, man. That's what
Mysterio Illuminati.
Yeah, that we're definitely next time we talk about Ultimate Spider-Man, that's the title of our episode for sure. But yeah, like I said, I love the cult angle of Mysterio, and like you said, I mentioned Mysterio showing up when Harry was killed. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to throw out, I'm always thinking 10 steps ahead. So I'm throwing out another theory here. I thought it was so obviously we know usually Mysterio uses like technology to, create these illusions, right? Well, we know that Doctor Strange is somewhere. Like we do have a Sorcerer Supreme, but the Maker has imprisoned him. So what if the Mysterios are using like strange magic instead of because I don't know, I feel like people who have read the issue or will read the issue,
you get that third eye thing going, yes, but with the Mysterio kind of
exactly, and obviously we have like the kind of gold and kind of greenish color schemes going on. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I thought that would be a really cool idea, like taking it even further. And then we get Strange in Spider-Man, which I think could be a cool way to introduce him.
We'll see. Yeah. We'll see where / if we ever get Doctor Strange in this.
Oh,
we do get a really cool Brother Voodoo kind of cameo.
Did we?
Yeah, so this book has a lot of flashbacks. It's a kind of lead up to where it's like, this is the reveal that Gwen is Mysterio. And at one point, Harry, for his first wedding Christmas gift, he gives Gwen a book full of conspiracy theories. And the conspiracy theory is literally what the Ultimate Universe is. And it's like, I believe that this universe is supposed to be something else. And there's 2 universes. And we're the one that's the different one type of thing. And the other one is what we're supposed to be, which is literally what the Ultimate Universe is. But it was written by Brother Voodoo. And I was like, look at that.
Damn, I didn't catch that.
Yeah. That was fun. I like that. So what a great issue this was. As always, Ultimate Spider-Man. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, superhero comic on the shelf. I can't recommend this book enough. The first 2 volumes of the trade paperback are out. That's the collections. It collects issues 1 through 6 and then 7 through 12 or 7 through 13, whatever it is. Go pick them up. If you want something different in your life for Spider-Man, if you're a little frustrated with the main line. If you just like want to get into some Spider-Man books and you want it to be a good Spider-Man book, this is it. It's different. It's its own universe. The first maybe issue or two may be a little challenging to get into because the Ultimate Universe is a little weird. But once when you get through it, it's like the Spider-Man that we've kind of been wanting for a long time. And I think Hickman does such a great job. TJ, last thoughts on this book.
Go get it. Go get it. Go read it. Go love it. Because I really don't know how you can't. Like, Damon, said it perfectly. I feel like this is a perfect book, whether you enjoy Spider-Man or if he's like a character you are not really, don't really know about or whatever. I think it's a great book for new and old fans alike. And before we move on, I want to highlight this comment again. Shout out our friend Ron over at Soups and Sabers. I had the opportunity to go chat with them all about Ultimate books. We went through the entire line. So go check that out and make sure to give them a subscribe as well, because they got some really great episodes.
You know I love my Ultimate books. You know I
Yeah.
love my absolute books. We actually don't have any DC books this week.
Oof.
But we do
They were
have
all
some more
last week.
Marvel.
They were all
I know,
last
it's
week.
wild. We have some more Marvel. This is the final issue of NYX, written by Hive Mind, Jackson Lansing, and Colin Kelly, artist Francesco Martorino, letterer Joe Sabino, and editor Tom Brevoort. NYX, TJ. I know we are very upset that this has ended. I know you and AF specifically are upset that this has ended.
Yes, I am
So,
upset.
has this 10 issue, did this 10th issue at least kind of like bring it together? Did it feel conclusive? I know you still wish you probably wanted more, but what did you make of these 10 issues as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I will preface this too. I've talked about this before. I am a huge Kamala Khan fan. I am obviously a big fan of Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly as well. So you can take this with maybe a little bit of salt or whatever they say. But I thought that they wrapped it up beautifully. I thought they really tied everything together, and to me, what I think really made it such a great send off is they ended it as the book started and kind of what this whole book was about. And that is mutant community and the, mutants that have been left to the wayside after Krakoa that again are not part of the superhero team. These people just want to live their life. And it ends on that same theme, and I think a very beautiful way that brings everyone together. And yeah, I'm just, like I said, I'm upset that it didn't go further. For me, this was like one of the X-Men books that kind of just felt like I was like checking in with my friends every couple weeks. Like let's see what let's see what our friends over in NYX are up to. And it was just a really great book, really refreshing from all the crazy cosmic stuff that is going on in the main X books right now, which I also love. So yeah, I mean, I loved it, and I also urge everyone go pick up Giant Size X-Men, which is going to be the next one coming out, which kind of doesn't continue this, but it kind of piggybacks off this. So definitely recommend checking that out as well.
They have a free comic book day issue for that giant size X-Men. I think it's tied in also with like the Fantastic Four issue as well. My biggest fear slash concern with that is I hope they just don't retcon too much. And essentially what's going on in that free comic book day book and giant size X-Men is they're having Kamala Khan go through major events in X history, starting with giant size as one. You should kind of like just start there when you're going through X books, everything prior to that. Oh, but once when Claremont steps in, we have some substance there. My biggest thing is I hope they don't just retcon too much of that, because if they do, I don't know who that's for at that point. Because I like Ms. Marvel fans don't want that, and X-Men fans, they'll lose their mind. So hopefully it's more of just my hope with this is it's a way for people who know of X-Men lore, who know of X-Men history can kind of go in, have like a little like few issue event, kind of catch themselves up on some X-Men lore, on some X-Men history, because Kamala just kind of like became a mutant pretty recently. She may want to know like the history, the lore of all of it herself, and I hope we're kind of seeing it through her eyes. That's my hope with this like giant size event. If it's anything more than that, I'm concerned.
I will say, Colin Kelly actually spoke on this issue, on this topic specifically. So, I mean, obviously, we haven't read the issue. It can go either way, right? But he specifically said, because obviously, like you said, X-Men fans are very passionate. And, and sometimes that can kind of go over the line. And, which I agree with. And I would urge everyone, he was basically saying, why not like think like instead of like thinking like we're just going to go in and just ruin X-Men history, like why don't you like give us some grace, and like this book is supposed to be like a celebration of X-Men history. Like they're not looking to go in and change the X history. They're from his words, looking more so to, like you said, highlight it, celebrate it, and bring Kamala into the kind of fold, as it were. So I mean, like I said, you can take that how obviously he's the writer of the book, so he's not going to be like, yeah, we're changing everything, right? But take that with what
Dark
you
Phoenix,
will.
it was Kamala
Yeah, it
all
was
along.
Kamala all along. But yeah, like I said, so I would agree, and also again just urge everyone, like, don't just like immediately assume that they're, everything's just gonna be changed or retcon just because we're revisiting these moments. So that's what I'll say on that.
That's my hope. That's my hope, is that they don't do anything too crazy. That's all I'll say on that.
Kamala Phoenix.
Okay.
I have thoughts
TVA.
on this. I haven't even read it, but I have thoughts on this. I'll make it quick.
Because everything out here is pretty much out here on this book. I wasn't planning on picking up this book this week. AF shot me a little note saying things happened in this book. And I said, fine, I'll read it. I've been lightly keeping up with this series. This is the finale, the 5th issue of TVA, the Time Variance Authority, number 5, written by Catherine Blair, artist Perry Perez, letter Guru EFX. Let me say this much. The art in here from Perry Perez, solid. I really like the art. Let's get into the story. What's been going on in this book, TJ? And for those who don't know, Gwen Stacy, Spider-Gwen / Ghost Spider, whatever you want to call her, has been kind of like helping out a bit with the TVA, but she's sensing some weird things going on, and there's like a weird department that she's investigating. It's called the Department of Deferment, and she discovers that there is a Wanda Maximoff kind of frozen in time in a little test tube in there, kind of like in a coma, if you will. Meanwhile, like Nightmare's kind of doing like his thing, being Nightmare, whatever. We're going to ignore all of that. The history with this book has been wild, where when they revealed that Wanda Maximoff, that one panel, we talked about it, how it was like, oh my God, they're bringing in the MCU, the 616, the Scarlet Witch from the Multiverse of Madness into Marvel Comics. And everyone was like, that's what happened to her after Multiverse of Madness. That's what did it. And then the artist came back and said, hey guys, Perry Perez came out and said, hey, just so you know, she's very similar, but this is not the same Scarlet Witch. Okay. We'll read the book. We'll figure it out. And it turns out, TJ, that in this issue revealed a few things. One, our Scarlet Witch in the MCU 616, Earth 199999, if you will, she's dead. Gone. Cooked by rocks.
Sure.
She's dead. They laid it all out there. She's dead. And this is a Scarlet Witch. We have to take it at this point. They've said she's dead. The TVA says she's dead. She's dead. Fine, whatever. This is a Scarlet Witch, however, that apparently lived, as the Scarlet Witch probably should. because it's just a bunch of rocks and she's a Scarlet Witch. So this Scarlet Witch also like references No Way Home. Like very briefly, she's like, "Oh, I've been like conscious this whole time. I saw like Doctor Strange like mind wipe the entire Earth." Regardless, what happens at the end of this book is they're originally gonna be like, "Oh, we got to keep it frozen," and Sylvie comes in. Sylvie comes in and is like, "No, TVA's changed. We gotta let her go." Some folks think she's gone off to a certain timeline. They didn't specify where she went off to, but she did make this one little one-liner that says, "When I walk through that door, I am no longer an Avenger." Ah, we're doing things. What a weird book.
So let me just clarify before I give my thoughts. So she is not the Wanda from the
No.
MCU. She's just basically the same, just not
Yes.
from the same universe. And now they're implying, at least, that she is now coming into the MCU universe.
Do you watch Rick and Morty?
Yeah, I have.
Has anyone, like, if you've watched Rick and Morty, the whole kind of joke with that show is they hate time travel. It's almost
Mhm.
my complete ideology with MCU time travel and dimensions. And I do specifically remember Kevin Feige and all of them bringing in some Rick and Morty writers to possibly use like that idea into their multiverse, where it's like you can have a reality that's so like incredibly similar, except the only difference is that they say Parmesan differently in this
Yeah.
reality, right? Like everything in your and my life going on right now is the same, except they say Parmesan, and that's it, right?
Mhm.
So this is just a reality where everything in Multiverse of Madness happened up to that point, except this Wanda lived. My biggest thing is if this Wanda is now going to be brought in, and Claremont has been at Comic Cons making statements saying that the Scarlet Witch will be back and she'll be a good Scarlet Witch. Doesn't sound like this Scarlet Witch at all, by the way. This Scarlet Witch is just kind of like in an FU mode. Did not sound like a good Scarlet Witch. That if you're just gonna like bring a Scarlet Witch back and it's pretty much the same, why not just make it the same? Because now if you're making it a variant, I feel like people have already detached themselves from that character.
Well, not only that, but what are the movie fans gonna do? Like they're just not gonna know this. I mean, I have a lot. I don't like it in a lot of different aspects. I totally am. I'll say too. I'm totally subscribed to the idea of, like you said, that there are universes that are just exactly the same. I mean, it's an infinite multiverse, people. So I don't hate that at all. And like the fact that like
This is
she's
a
a
no,
Wanda
by the way.
and Sheila isn't our
This
Wanda
is
the
a
only
no. She's not the only
drop the
Scarlet Witch
knowledge.
in the multiverse. It's essentially Wanda Maximoff is just always the Scarlet Witch kind of thing.
Yeah. But yeah,
It's
so like I said, I don't.
they're playing with their own rules too much.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
wildly annoying.
I agree with that. And my other beef, I think, with this is if this is really like setting up the MCU Scarlet Witch, like I said, I think one, that's kind of lame because again, what are the movie people gonna like? How are they gonna explain that in the movie? Because we all know that not everyone that is MCU fans reads the comics. And also, I will
Yeah.
say, I think it's kind of a dirty move that Steve Orlando has been carrying Wanda Scarlet Witch on his back for like the past 3-4 years. And if they're gonna do some kind of big Scarlet Witch move and like tie it to the MCU somehow, that should have been in his Scarlet Witch book. Like that should have been in his book. I think he should have had the opportunity to do that, whether it would have been the same or not. I don't know. I think that's kind of shitty that they just kind of lump, which I get too. It's like the TVA obviously has a big thing to do with it. But yeah, I just thought that I don't know, didn't sit right with me that he didn't get the opportunity to do that because his Scarlet Witch has just been so good. So
This whole
yeah,
thing's been a
I'm
mess,
not a
by the way.
fan.
This whole thing has been a mess.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not even talking comics at this point, by the way. Yes, TJ, I know Feige called her a Nexus being. The whole point of Nexus being at this point means absolutely nothing to me now. It really doesn't mean anything to me now. because they've just flip-flopped so many times on what things mean, what things don't mean. We randomly get a TVA book that's apparently canon that they didn't like advertise this at all. AF brought up a great point, and he mentioned this in a conversation between him and I. If this like truly is like an MCU canon book, which by the way, I was going to bring it up. I guess they're making like a canon Fantastic Four comic coming out before the movie, which is cool. But they're advertising as the first canon book. What even is?
What is this, dude? What are we
Like,
doing?
it's a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess, and we've talked about this a lot actually, and I've been on the record. I don't mind, and I actually enjoy a lot of the so-called "quote unquote" MCU synergy books. I'll throw out the recent Thunderbolts run. But what I like about those is it's not the same story from the movie. It's not canon to the movie. It just like includes some of the same characters, themes. I think having something like this, we're getting too far of, like you said, like it's canon, not canon, and it's actually influencing things that happen in the movies. I don't like that. I think that is getting kind of too far, and it'll get way too complicated way too fast. But I will also say that Fantastic Four issue, that's going to be self-contained to the Fantastic Four movie. So while it is contained, I do like that, because I think that is a cool way to give a little bit extra context if you want to the movie, but you don't need it to go see that. And that I can subscribe to. But this, like you said, I don't know what we're doing over here.
Also, at the same time, we had that like official Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man comic. That was like the official prequel comic. Technically MCU, just another thing. And I completely agree with this from TJ. He says this: I love some synergy, but I need clear communication on what is what.
Yes. 100%.
My pitch to how to fix this is, if you're going to make an MCU book and differentiate it from like your Marvel Comics book, it's so simple. You see that little Marvel thing in the top left-hand corner? Put Marvel Studios up there.
Just put Marvel Studios up there. Idea. That's a great idea. Council of TJs, one brain, man.
Just put Marvel Studios up there. There needs to be some sort of communication. It needs to be clear. And it's just it's just messy right now. It's just very messy because, you know, TJ, not you, the other TJ, very confusing. We're all very confused right now. Nexus being, what is, what isn't a Nexus being? Are we going comic what it is in the comics? Are we going with whatever they said it is in the MCU? Are we going back and forth at this point because we're just flip-flopping things? It's a mess. How they've handled, the last thing I'll say about this before we move on to just comics, because this is Comic Corner, how they've handled the Scarlet Witch, for how beloved that character is, how much of a, you know, term cash cow gets thrown around a lot, but just how beloved that character has become amongst the mainstream media, and how they've handled her since WandaVision has been horrendous. I do not think they could have handled this any worse. If they bring her back, and this is essentially just a variant of, oh well, it's the same Wanda, but she just say,
like you said, why?
Just it's unnecessary.
Yeah,
it's so unnecessary.
Yeah, 100%.
As I've been joking about, Nexus being Nexus event, Anchor being canon event, absolute point. Like,
yeah,
how many more MacGuffins do we need? I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
This comic as a whole, it's fine. I like the art. Artist Perez, great art in here. It's fine. It's just the whole thing honestly just didn't feel A, necessary, or B, just needs way more cohesiveness on what's what. That's it.
Agree. This is just a stupid little fun fact for you and the chat. I wanted to ask if you knew this, because you're obviously a big Agatha fan and like Wanda Agatha. Did you know that Agatha first appearance was in Fantastic Four?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I found that a really interesting thing. The issue's really fun too. What'd you say?
She was the babysitter for Franklin.
Yep. Like I said, I didn't know that, and I was like, I got to see if Damon knew this. But yeah,
Yes, sir.
just had to ask you that. Fun little fact for the chat too.
Yeah, fun fact. There you go. A book I love. I can get off like
Hey, you
an
can collect
angry.
yourself after the TVA fiasco.
Ugh. Moving on from that. Something is Killing the Children, number 41. This is written by James Tynion IV, artist Werther Deladere, colorist Mikel Muerto, letter and world design, and editors Maya Bollinger, Eric Harburn, and Ramiro Portnoy. I really liked this issue. I love this series. But what I will say is this, and I actually kind of have to go back and bring something up because I need to genuinely see when exactly it was. Golly, I'm trying to go back and genuinely see something right now. I think it was almost a year ago at this point. Yeah, it was almost a year ago at this point where we had a huge cliffhanger in the main storyline of this book, where Erica Slaughter, spoilers for anyone, uh, they have an ability to see monsters. She has an ability to see monsters that was taken away from her a year ago. Since then, we took a breather. We went back and saw some moments of time in Erica's life and how she kind of became who she is, which is like cool. We have a breather. I expected this series, once we got back off of like that volume, to go into the next volume to like pick up where we left off. We're still in flashback mode, baby. But this is a flashback that fans of this series have been long awaiting. It seems like we are finally getting what happened, the story to what happened to Erica Slaughter's mentor, Jessica. And I don't know if I'm emotionally ready to read this, but I'm going to have to. And I know it's going to rip my heart out, but it's going to be great. And I know it. Again, my only issue, it doesn't even have to do with this issue, is it's like I just kind of want to pick up where we left off because it was such a cliffhanger in the main storyline that it's like we're still in flashback mode. It's been a year and we have long pauses between things. So, are we learning what is in fact killing the children? Yes, TJ, you learned that in issue 1. What is in fact killing the children? I cannot recommend this series enough. If you like horror, suspense, everyone brings up Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You get elements of that. It's not exactly one for one, but you get elements of that. Secret Society and all of that. And the world that Tynion has built here with House of Slaughter as well, which is like just world expanding. Best thing Boom Studios has, in my opinion. And it's that good. It's so good. That's why this is getting a Netflix series. And it's going to be great if they do it right. So go check this book out. Go check out this whole series. I think we're at like 7 or 8 volumes at this point. But they're so worth picking up, so worth checking out. I love this. I'm trying to get issues so we can do a collective like read along for this. I'll say the first 3 volumes are essentially the first story.
I would
And
love
then,
that
yeah.
because this is one that I've really wanted to get into. And so I was going to ask you, so you just mentioned the trades. Is there like an omnibus for it or no, since it's still like ongoing?
There's bigger collections like the
Okay.
$100 big fat chunky
I say I
collections.
wanted
That's like
just
the
like
first 3.
all in one. Like that's, I mean, not why I haven't gotten to it. Like I said, I just have so many other things to read. But I feel like this is one I really want to like sit down and just like devour. You know?
I'll also quickly shout out legal ways to read things in bulk. These issues in trade form are available on Hoopla. So if you have a local library near you, which you should, you go to your local library. Most of them have digital services. Mine has Hoopla. Some others have some other services. You can go, you can read them on your tablet for free. You can go and ask for trades, request them through your local library. There's affordable ways to do this because I know it's not like I'm not going out there and be like, buy all 7 or 8 trade paperbacks because that's
In
not
this
cheap.
economy, dude.
Exactly. Your local library. a fantastic option. And if you like it so much like I do and you still want the physical forms, you can do that and support your local comic shops in the process.
I'm sure there's some
I'm
great deals on Free Comic Book Day for it.
very true. I mentioned that Something is Killing Children is the best thing from Boom Studios. Grimm to me is easy number 2. This is easy number 2. This is written by Stephanie Phillips, art from Flaviano, colorist Rico Renzi, letterer Tom Napolitano, and editors Maya Bollinger and Elizabeth Bray. Grimm is a fascinating book. It's about a woman who is a Grim Reaper in a collection of Grim Reapers, and everything in afterlife lore, from Greek mythology to Roman mythology to American kind of like Grim Reaper-esque mythology, is all in play here. Even life has a human embodiment, death has a human embodiment, time has a human embodiment. In this issue, if we brought up Agatha all along a little bit earlier, we remember that one episode where we're kind of like going back and forth in time. That's this issue essentially, because our main character here, she had a relationship with the embodiment of time, and she's going back and forth, literally having like a chess match with the embodiment of the end. Just like the end of everything. Having a chess match with the embodiment of the end of everything while going back and forth, having to take down the embodiment of the original sin. It's like it's a lot of metaphorical, a lot of out there designs and ideas and concepts, but the art from Flaviano is incredible. We're 22 issues in. It's just so cool. I think if you enjoy some of the ideas of like Wonder Woman and her Greek mythology, and you just want to like fully dive deeper into that, and not just like the Greek side, but just like mythology as a whole, and like what is the embodiment of concept. There's a character in this book whose name is Harold, and he's the herald of life. Like, brilliant. I just love that. It's silly, it's cheesy, but it's fun. It's so good. I love this book.
Dude,
I love this
Stephanie
book.
Phillips, she cooks, dude. Like, she is so good. I have not caught up on this series specifically, but from what it sounds like, she's playing with a lot of the same elements that she is over in the Phoenix series, which that series is crazy. And again, same kind of thing, like dealing with the concepts of creation, like what, the end of everything, all that kind of great stuff. And I think she does a really good job with that. So yeah, I'm on board. Like I said, I think she is a super strong writer, especially in these kind of mythology, big brain kind of concepts. So yeah, I mean, go pick up Grimm for sure. Even though I haven't read it and I need to catch up, I feel like I can confidently give it a sign off based off her other work too. And pick up Phoenix, because Phoenix, oh, so good.
We've been talking about Free Comic Book Day all
Yes.
day long. So let's talk about a Free Comic Book Day book that's coming out on Free Comic Book Day. When is Free Comic Book Day, TJ? It's the first Saturday in May. And isn't it crazy? We're almost already in May. Good
Aren't
gravy.
we
Wait,
in
aren't
May?
we? Is it May
Hey, we
1st?
are in May. It's May 1st. I say, what are you talking
Golly,
about, man?
what
We
is
made it.
time, man? What is time? It's May. I feel like it just blinked. Good gravy. This Saturday's Free Comic Book Day. We've brought it up like 20 times this episode. One of the issues coming out this week on Free Comic Book Day is Speed Racer, written by friend of the show, David Pepos. Another back issue in there written by Mark Russell, artist David Tinto, Chris Batista, colorist Rex Locus, Carlos Lopez, inker Sabrina Cintrone, and letterer Buddy Bowden. I don't know how much we can actually say about this because it's like not actually out yet, but if you enjoy Speed Racer, I think you'll really like this. It's colorful, it's bombastic, it's very David Pepos does such a good job. And we have a book coming out next week that we are both very much looking forward to. where he just came off of Space Ghost as well. He does such a good job at taking these IPs, these classic cartoons from whether it's our youths or maybe youths prior. Because Speed Racer's been going on since like I was never a Speed Racer kid. You know who was? My father.
Dude, Speed Racer's an OG. I watched that on Boomerang. I don't know if any
Oh
out there
yeah,
know
see that's like it's a
Boomerang.
boomerang type of book.
Yeah, like they show just all the super old stuff like that, the Jetsons, all that. So I watched it there, but it wasn't like my main kind of, cartoon.
But the car is iconic.
Hmm.
The world is iconic. You get like, just racing, but you get some weird things going on with the car. It's like battle bots almost. TJ, I know again, we can't talk too much about this because the book
Hmm.
isn't actually out yet, but it's fun.
Yeah, it's super, super fun. Like I said, I obviously am aware of Speed Racer. Not an expert by any means, but I just want to highlight, like you said, just like David just does such a good job with taking these old properties and just bringing new life to them, but also making it like what you remember as well. And I also want to say too, Captain Planet has been not Captain Planet, Space Ghost has been renewed for a whole new arc. So we're getting more Space Ghost, baby. But yeah,
Is it starting at an issue 1
I
again, or are
think
we like
so. I think it is starting at an issue 1. I think I could be
darn?
wrong on that, but luckily we are going to be having David on the show just in a couple days, so we can get all the answers. But back to Speed Racer, yes, this book is like you said, it's very fast paced. It's very like action, high kind of intensity, which I really loved. It's again, I'm not really sure if it's like this in the original cartoon, but it also does a really great job with like building out the world of like where this city is in this kind almost like cyberpunk kind of style, but not necessarily to that level. But yeah, I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was really cool and different than I was expecting. Like it was I'll just say it was different than I was expecting in the best way possible. So I said the Ultimate Spider-Man in the beginning as my number one pick, but that was just because we were talking about this. So if you're, outside of the big, titles, big two titles, I really recommend picking up Speed Racer. I think everyone will really enjoy it, whether you're a fan of the old Speed Racer or not.
And you know what's even better? It's free because it's free
Yes.
comic book day. So make sure you go pick it up. Make sure you go pick it up on free comic book day. We have a Fantastic Four issue that's teamed up with the Giant Size X-Men. On the DC side, there's a DC All-In slash Absolute issue coming out on Friday or Saturday as well. So go check those out. Let's talk about next week. Let's just take a look at next week. We already brought up Captain Planet #1, written by David Pepos. We were both Planeteers. That was like a fun little surprise that we found out about each other. Very impactful cartoon in my youth. But we'll be back with DC next week. I'm sorry, AF. We'll be back with DC next week. I just looked at DC's like slate just to be like, I didn't miss anything, right? And like for me personally, no, I didn't miss anything. Absolute Superman #7, Birds of Prey #21 on the Boom Studio side. Hello Darkness #10. I love Hello Darkness. It's your horror anthology from Boom Studios. A lot of good stuff in there. Gets a little spicy. It's pretty adult. It's Jeff Week #1. Another physical collection of the digital Jeff comics is here. Hell yes. Ultimate Wolverine #5 and X-Men #16. If they don't cut down Jean from all those wires, I will riot.
What's she gonna do when she's off there, though, man?
Yeah, she's pretty weak.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
she
don't
can
know.
like telekinetic, like kind of like float along.
What if like Charles's brain like controlled her and like it was like a paired kind of thing, like a
Crazy.
Zemo with like the
Crazy.
Zola. I mean,
All right. Yes or no? Will Wolverine have any words this issue?
I hope not. I hope not.
You just hope he never speaks.
Well, I mean, I like we'll get it eventually, but I'm liking I like the shtick right now. Like I think we should keep it going. Well, like we talked about too, I want him to kind of stay in this Winter Soldier. Like obviously we are starting to break the walls down, but I hope we don't just like get there immediately. And I think
Yeah.
the words should come when that moment comes. And for me, I want that moment to be a little bit further down.
What will his first words be?
I saw,
Gene.
dude.
Oh, see, I'm saying Gene.
I mean, yeah, probably. Or no more mutants.
Bub.
That would be that. I honestly, I wouldn't be mad at that. I do say though, I don't think that they should wait too long, which I know is weird because I just said like I don't want it to be too quick either. I'm putting Chris Condon in a tough position here, but I feel like it could, if it does go on too long, we could get into the kind of issue of yes, definitely. But get into the issue of like whatever he will say will be underwhelming because like we've waited so long, right?
That's
So like I said, I think it's a tricky line to balance, but I think Condon is gonna pull it off.
I am so excited for more Ultimate Ileana. She can do no wrong. I'm sorry.
Dude.
She is pure evil in this
Oh yeah,
world,
isn't
but
this
it's
the one where
fine.
she's on the cover? Or no?
No,
Oh,
we're a while away from that. That was from the
okay.
solicit. Any books here that you have that aren't on this list, TJ?
The only one. Oh, you don't have Absolute Green Lantern? Oh, so I have Absolute Green
Oops.
Lantern on there.
Okay, that'll be on there too. My bad.
And then one of my absolute favorites, Storm, number 8. Storm has been so good. I absolutely love it. So yeah, Storm number 8 is Captain Planet's my top one, but that's right underneath it. There's a lot of good books next week. Next week's gonna be a really good week.
It will be a really good week. It'll be a Jeff-tacular week, if you will. The very first collected trade paperback of It's Jeff came out this week. So if you're at your local comic shop for Free Comic Book Day and you want something, either for some youngins because it's a great book for like all ages, or if you just want to smile because it is that type of comic, go pick it up. Go pick it up. It's an absolute delight. Well, I'll do it for this issue of the Com Corner. TJ, what do we have going on? Do you have anything going on this week, next week on
I
the
got a
Agents of Fandom?
lot going on actually. So as I mentioned, we are going to have friend of the show back, David Pepose, back talking all about Captain Planet, Speed Racer, and his newest book that is going to be coming out, Terrier Titan, I think, something along those lines. And we are also going to be having Colin Kelly, Jackson Lansing back. I think that's going to be around the 15th. And then also, just talking about Storm, friend of the show, Marewa Adeli is going to be coming back, so we can talk all about the Thunder Wars before that gets really cooking. So we got some fun stuff coming, man.
AF is making some connections in Cape Town. If you know me, you know my favorite character in all of comics. Yes, we are due for another chat with Kelly Thompson. I'll line that one up eventually. But speaking of Kelly, speaking of Kate Bishop, we may have one of the co-creators of said character up here on the channel. And of course, TJ has his stuff up with Jason Aaron, Jeremy Adams, Tim Sheridan, and more coming soon from the Calgary Fan Expo. A lot of stuff lined up. We will be back tomorrow at 8 p.m. on Friday. Today's Thursday. Yes, on Friday for a Thunderbolts reaction show here on the Agents of Fandom channel. So make sure you tune into that and hear my thoughts, hear TJ's thoughts. I don't know who else we have on that episode, but it'll be fun. Oh, I know who else we have. I was going to let TJ put it up, but it will be fun. We have a fun episode up ahead tomorrow. Make sure you check it out. TJ, thanks as always for joining in.
Me or other TJ?
Everyone. Thank you all for
all
tuning
the
in.
TJs out there.
There we go. I was letting TJ do it. Dave Gonzalez and AF will be joining us tomorrow for the Thunderbolts reaction show. I'm very excited
going
for
in
that.
a couple hours, so
Yes, the MCU Reign of Marvel Studios co-author. That'll do it for this issue of the Comic Corner. As always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining us in the chat, TJ and everyone else. We will be back next week for another exciting issue where we'll talk more DC Comics. I promise. We have a few absolute books lined up.
I'll
Hopefully
even pick one for just for the for the shits and gigs.
There you go. There you go. Make sure you go to your local comic shop for Free Comic Book Day, Saturday. Find your local comic shop. Go to comicshoplocator.com. You go to freecomicbookday.com to find more comic shops that are signed up for Free Comic Book Day. It's an exciting day. It's a great day. It's a celebratory day. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, go support your local comic shops. And until next time.